Welcome to a very special edition of your favorite show, Buddycast. I'm your host, Nick Sorensen, here with a special co-host who's actually starting his podcast very soon. You all know him, you love him, you see him on my comedy shows all the time, Chris Herren. And today, we are joined by the one and only Jonathan Molo. How you doing today, sir?
Good. Thank you for having me, Nick. Chris, it's an honor. It was a surprise to see you on here. But it was a happy surprise. Chris is a brother from another mother, and Nick, again, honored to be on Buddycast. Finally, you've had some amazing guests in the past, and then now I finally get my chance. Yes,
Exactly. You're among the greats.
yes. Thank you very much.
You're sitting on the same screen that Sinbad once sat on, so.
Yes, and it's funny. I am old enough to know who Sinbad is.
Uh-huh.
Which is,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Alrighty. Let's begin with a general question. How did you get into magic?
Well, my story is very similar to most magicians. I discovered magic when I was 10 years old. I saw David Copperfield, the legend, on TV, vanish the Statue of Liberty, live in New York City, and that just did it for me. It was something that even when I was that young, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible, and that image just stuck in my head. And throughout the years, it's mostly a hobby of mine. And throughout the years, I stopped doing my hobby, discovered girls, and then David Blaine in 2000, or actually late 90s, he came out with the Street Magic special, and that was it. I wanted to do exactly what he was doing, and yeah, now I'm very, very thankful to be where I'm at, doing what I'm passionate about, sharing love, sharing, just positivity, especially during this time right now, it's very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think Chris helped me come up with this question.
I'm ready.
I want to ask about the purple outfit you got going on there.
The purple outfit. Well, so I got my start in magic as a card magician, close-up magician. I absolutely love cards, close-up stuff. But when I was being mentored by a very good close-up card magician, Aaron Fisher, he said that I have to really expand my repertoire. So what I ended up doing I live in Victorville. If you don't know where that's at, that's great because it's not that great over here. But it's in the middle of the Mojave Desert. It's hot, and there's just a lot of cranky people. Anyways, these type of shows that I love to do, like the close-up magic, doesn't really sell here. So I was like, you know what? I need to find a way to sell some sort of show so I can do what I'm passionate about. So I started doing kids shows. And this is where it came into play. I actually went to, because I'm not very stylish. So what I did is I went to Google and I was like, all right, what matches with my skin color? Dark brown, and purple showed up. It was funny. I received this in the mail because I was cheap. My tailor is very exclusive, by the way. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's Amazon. Amazon is my tailor, and so I got the box. It was all in one suit. It came with the jacket, the tie, and the pants. I put it on. I looked in the mirror, and I'm like, damn, I bought a women's suit. This is horrible. So, but it grew on me. It grew on me. And honestly, I when I decided to transfer from, or kind of, from kids magic to corporate magic, it stuck because I actually wore this at the Magic Castle. And people seem to like it. People seem to notice it and remember me by the purple suit. And I'm like, I might as well just keep it. I guess it's my thing now, I guess.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it definitely suits you, Jonathan. I mean, I
Thank
love the
you.
purple suit, and it really it kind of, Nick. I think it matches his personality.
Absolutely.
Purple is a nice bright color.
And look
Oh,
You
at
have a
this.
personality. You you,
Look at
you know, I have a question, Nick, if you don't
yeah,
mind.
absolutely.
Jonathan, what would you say was the turning point for you from going from a children's magician to a corporate magician? Why the transition there?
I continue doing kid shows. I love kid shows. It's a different type of performance art. They are the most honest audience that you'll ever have in your life. You know, adults tend to lie to you. I've been to shows and you just you crap the whole thing and people are like, you did awesome. And but when you do kid shows, they'll tell you you suck, you are horrible, and it's in your pocket. And they're the most honest audience. I love it, but that wasn't what I was really passionate about. I am passionate about just sharing magic in general, especially if it's behind a certain cause, and I'll do that all day long. But when it comes down to it, I love a deck of cards in my hand and just doing magic with that. And if I'm going to share my magic, for the most part, I want to do it on my own terms. But
Yeah,
I've incorporated kids magic into what I do now, especially if it there's a cause behind it.
yeah.
Hmm. Now, earlier you mentioned Magic Castle. I know you both are involved in that. How did you get started with Magic Castle and all
Oh, myself,
that?
it's always been a dream because that's like the mecca of magic. It's just where the best of the best, perform and hang out. Like the legends of magic, perform there in that actual, holy ground of magic. Have you been, Nick?
I have not, but I plan to one day. Maybe when everything opens
We
up and
need to
all that.
make that happen. Drinks are on me, or dinner is
Sounds
on me,
good.
or something. But honestly, it's something that I always wanted to do, and I just took a stab in the dark. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try. I might not get in, but I'll keep on trying. And uh, I got in my first audition, and yeah, it's very prestigious. It's an honor to be a part of this organization. So yeah, I get chills still. And I was supposed to make my debut
Yes.
April in the close-up gallery, which is a very prestigious room in the Magic Castle, and I was so excited. I had my first week there, and COVID happened. So
Mm.
Yeah.
but things happen for a reason. I'll get my chance again. I'm not too worried about it. I got to meet people like you guys. I've got to
Mm.
meet so many wonderful people during this very, uh, you know, unique time. So I'm
Well,
very thankful.
I think, Jonathan, but since then, just to give a little background on your accomplishments, you have 200K TikTok followers. You represent different charitable organizations. You performed all over the theaters and circuits. I mean, what would you say is your most memorable experience thus far in your magical journey?
Honestly, there's many. There's many. I'll you know about 5 years ago, I was introduced to the autism community through the Autism Eats, and they asked me if I wanted to do some magic for. Well, first of all, Autism Eats is an organization that offers parents with children or even adults that have autism or any type of disability to eat at a restaurant. They actually close down the restaurant for the families, and they offer food and entertainment. And they need a place where their kids could just be them, without being judged. So I did. I'm still affiliated with Autism Meets, but it grew into something even bigger. So now I'm working with different organizations in just the autism community and the disabled community, and I, it's awesome going to these events because I get to see people that I've known for years now, and then their family, their friends, and it's just honestly, this is what magic is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about sharing with everybody, and it's not about you. It's about your audience, regardless on what type of audience you're performing for. Yeah, that's honest.
You know, on that note, Jonathan, if you don't mind, Nick, I have to ask, Jonathan, like when you perform, do you have like a philosophy that you stand by when you're performing in front of an audience? Like, what is your goal with that audience?
It's changed throughout the years, but quick story. I used to DJ. It's a Filipino thing. I used to DJ on the ones and twos. My DJ name was Spinaholic. How
Oh, wow.
whack is that?
Yeah,
And you want to hear even something even worse? It's actually tattooed on the back of my neck. Anyway,
Nice.
that's another story. But anyway,
Nice.
bad decisions. Nice. So, anyways, I was invited to a club for the very first time. I've never performed out in public, but one of the DJs that who plays there every night, he was like, "Come on down. Let's bring some records." At the time, there was records. It was just vinyl records. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. So I brought my creator records. I brought all the music that I absolutely love to play. And he had the dance floor full. I got there midway through the night. He had the dance floor full, and he was, "Are you ready?" And I was hyped. I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So I had a transition from his song to my song. I put on this song that I absolutely love, and I played it, and I killed the dance floor. Everybody sat down. I'm like, what? All right. I got him with this one. I took out another record, play the next record. People continue to sit down. And I'm like, what? What is this? I absolutely love this music. This is my music that I played in my bedroom that people should love. So at the end of the night, I said, I asked the DJ, I'm like, what happened? Like, these are bangers. These are the hits. These are the ones that I loved. And he said, yeah, this is what you love. You didn't play what the audience loves or likes. And that stuck with me through magic, just because there's a lot of magicians that really get caught up in methods, or just in their mind, it looks really slick. And they'll keep on shoving it down the audience's throat, even though it's kind of bland. So what I learned is I gauge what I do for the audience. So if I do a card trick and they absolutely love it, I'm gonna do it over and over again. That's something that's gonna stay in my set. I hate sponge balls. Nick, I don't know if you know much about balls, but sponge balls, I try to avoid it. I try to avoid it like the plague. But honestly, it's something that I do all the time because my audience loves it. It's not about you. It's not about what you like. It's not about what tickles your fancy. It's about your audience. And I think once you grasp that concept and treat it like a gift, I think honestly your magic will be much better. That's just my 2 cents. Whatever that's worth. 2 cents.
Wonderful point.
You mentioned like their favorite type of magic. I have to ask, what's your favorite type of magic?
That's changed throughout the years too. I love close-up magic, but let me tell you something about Chris. I saw Chris at the Magic Castle. He shared a small piece of his set for me in the Hat and Hair. It's a lounge downstairs. It was just me and him. It was cool. But I didn't grasp what he was doing. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I've never seen this style before. But we had a chance to perform in Portland together, Portland, Oregon, at the Night of Curiosities, and I actually stood in the audience and I watched the show, and magic is supposed to spark your imagination. It's supposed to make you feel something. And honestly, till that time, except for when David Copperfield uh, flew on stage. I don't know if anybody remembers that. He had a special where he flew on stage. He went into a box. It made you feel something. It made you feel like a kid again. That's what Chris show did for me. I had the chills. He was doing things that are super like just method wise is just very basic, but it was magic. He turned those tricks that other people do, and you're just like, oh, I know how that's done. He turned it into magic. My point is that it's changed throughout the years. I'm a big fan of Chris's, and Chris actually made me look at what I was doing, and he inspired me to change a lot of things.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I mean, you always humble me. But
that's the honest truth.
I'm a big fan of yours. You do a completely different style of magic, and I would say it. Nick, I think it's called Jonathan. What would you say? It's close-up magic, and you also do parlor as well and stage. So you're one of the more versatile magicians out there. But how would you describe the style of magic that you perform?
It's loud. It's called loud. It's loud. I think something that I've learned through all of this, especially from you, Chris, is not about the tricks. The tricks are not the magic. The things the props that I put out is not the magic. It's you that has to make it into the magic. You have to be the magic for the props to come alive. And if you haven't watched Chris's show, you need to watch it. Because I'm not even joking. It's the truth. It's because it's not about the magic. It's not about the stuff. Magicians, if you're watching this right now, or anybody that's coming into magic, I'm telling you, you're looking through all these trailers on videos of magic tricks. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Holy, it's not about the magic tricks. It's about you, on how you actually perform it, and how you it's really hard to explain. It really is. But there has to be a reason why, and like my reason why is love and just positivity that I want to exude through these little tools that we have, the magic tricks. And if you have a reason why you're doing anything, even with comedy, Nick, you have a reason why. It's something that you're passionate about, and you can see that. You can also see if you're not passionate about it. You see people that are doing a performance or even doing comedy that you could tell that they're missing something. They're missing something. But once you find that certain thing, your why you're doing this, it clicks, and you could see it. You could see it within the performer. It's the truth. It's the truth. I don't know. See, it's loud. It's super loud. Blew out everybody's ears.
You hit the nail on the head, because there are open mics where you go to, and you can tell this guy's here just because his buddy brought him, or because they come to this all the time and all that stuff. And then you can see there's this new, young, energetic guy who wants to prove himself, even if it's in front of 5 people. He wants to be the one to say, "Hey, here I am."
Absolutely. Share himself.
You can tell that Jonathan, his heart is into this. His heart's true. It's authentic, and it translates in his magic, as you can see, and that's what I enjoy about Jonathan and your style of magic.
There's actually a story behind it, a quick story. A couple of years ago, I turned 41 last year, December 31st. I turned 41, and about a year before that, I thought about the very morbid thought about death, about my death, because I don't do magic full time. I do magic full time, but I also have another job. I work for the U.S. military out at Fort Irwin, California, and I'm pointing this way because that's the way Fort Irwin is. But my point was that I I thought to myself, because I have three boys, I have three young boys, and if I die tomorrow, what kind of legacy would I leave my kids? Like, would they say, "Oh, my dad was he did magic. He was cool. He was awesome." Would they have things to say about me? Would people? I could care less of what other people say about me, but what would my kids say about me if I was gone tomorrow? And that really bothered me for a long time. So my job that till the day I die is to leave a legacy that my kids could follow long after I'm gone. Something positive. Even if there's no blueprint, they could see like my dad helped these people, and didn't ask for anything in return. He did it because he loves people. And I just want my kids to be good people, good men at the end of the day. And I have to do my best to be just a good person, you know? And you know what? People out there, don't if you're gonna do something for somebody, don't expect anything back. I don't know what that's all about. That is so that oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
hey, do you remember I helped you move last year? Do you think you can dot whatever? That is just the wrong mindset to have. Do
Right.
something for someone because it's the right thing to do. That's
Do it
it.
because you're their
Live
buddy.
your
Yes.
live your life
That's
like that.
that's what Nick's podcast is about. Is just to have a buddy and do things that are honest and positive. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
it's about as
I
true as
you
it
know
can.
I met amazing people like you that have you're doing it because for the right reasons, and
Hmm.
I will forever do anything for you guys just because I know where you're at. Because there are a couple of guys that I ran into this COVID where they're like, well, if I'm going to do that for you, what are you going to do for me? I'm like, then I'm not going to mess with you then. No,
Hmm.
I'm not going to deal with you.
Hmm.
Right. Well, Jonathan, Nick, if you don't mind, I think what you're talking about, Jonathan, I mean, it really strikes, it really reflects about, your magic and how you put your feeling into the magic and you talk about legacy and things like that. Is there, I mean, it's, would you like to demonstrate something for the audience at this
Yeah.
point? I mean, if it's,
Sure. I'll be
Yeah.
honored to. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
actually, I visited my parents a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking through some of my old stuff, and I actually found the very first trick that I performed and
Oh,
practiced. I'm so excited to share this with you. Uh, ugh, I'm getting old. My back hurts. Uh, yes, it's my dad and I built this when I was 10 years old. Oh well, to be honest, I watched my dad build this. Yes, uh, this brings back a lot of memories. I remember the first time I performed this. Like I said, I was 10 years old. There was about 10 people sitting on my parents' couch. They were eating plates of Filipino food, pancit and lumpia. Yes, gentlemen, if you know what I'm talking about, pump your fist. Yes, it sounds good right now because I forgot to eat lunch. So I decided to I showed the audience uh, 5 cards. There was one, two, three, four, 5 cards. I tossed one of the cards into the box, snapped my fingers, and magically I still had one, two, three, four, 5 playing cards. Everyone was so amazed. They all pumped their fists in the air and yelled out, Jonathan Molo!
Jonathan Molo.
Okay, we really need to work on this. Chris, where you're at. This is
sorry.
not how I remembered it.
Sorry, man.
No, it's
Jonathan,
okay.
Molo.
I thought we were friends, but that's
my
fine.
my mic was on mute. I'm sorry.
Oh, excuses. That's right. No, you know what? You didn't know what to expect. That's the problem. You didn't know what to expect. That's why we're going to do this again. That's why we're going to do this again. I was 6 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. There was about 20 people sitting on my parents' couch eating Filipino food. Yeah, pancit and lumpia. Pump those fists if you know what I'm talking about, gentlemen. Yes.
Yes.
And I presented 5 playing cards. One, two, three, four, 5 playing cards. I tossed not only one playing card into the box, but two. Snapped my fingers, and magically I still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. Everyone was so amazed. Okay, we really need to practice this. Everyone is so amazed. They all pumped their fist in the air and yelled out, "Jonathan Molo!"
Oh,
That was decent. I think we have to work on the timing. I think that's what it was. Gentlemen, we'll practice after this. But it was okay. We'll do that. We're gonna do this till you like it. I think that's the problem. We'll do it till you like it. I was 2 years old. I remember like it was yesterday. There was 500 people sitting on my parents' couch. Absolutely craziness. People were actually sitting on the Filipino food. Yeah, lumpia and pancit all over, and eating the couch. It was crazy. I presented to the audience 5 playing cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. Tossed not only one playing card into the box, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. Snapped my fingers, and magically, I still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All their cards vanish. And everyone was so amazed. They all pumped their fists in the air and yelled out, "Jonathan Molo!"
Jonathan Molo! Woohoo!
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. Unsolicited support. Thank you so much.
Bravo!
Amazing.
Bravo.
It's always nice sharing.
That was awesome. A
Thank
great
you.
storyline behind it. So let me ask you on the performing aspect.
Yes.
Bringing up a touchy subject here with COVID and all that. Do you find it like easy to do these virtual shows now that that's sort of like the option of today? Or are you someone who still misses like the whole crowd interaction and the crowd like live audience type of deal?
Sure.
Mhm.
Trust me, I miss performing in front of people, but regardless of the vehicle and like I said earlier, the reason why I share just magic in general is because of love, love for people, and I want to spread that positivity, especially because a lot of people are going through some tough times. So, for my reason, whatever vehicle it is, if I can see somebody smile like you guys and hear the joy and happiness, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's not the same," but you can make it the same. You can. There's so many things you can do to make it. I did a show for a group of nurses the other day, and 95% of my show is very interactive. I'm asking questions, this and that. There's the interaction, because that's one of the things that people really that magicians miss. They miss interaction. You can create that interaction in your Zoom shows. You just have to really change up what you do, what magic you do, and sometimes you don't even have to change anything if your show is very interactive. But yeah, there's no excuse. It's just I'm not going to stop because of this COVID thing, and people need magic even more. So whatever you're doing, if you're doing comedy, you're doing magic, you're doing music, share it, because you're going to make somebody smile. You're going to make somebody happy, even if it's for that short amount of time. That's it. Period.
And you just hit on why Buddycast was created. Why it was created. Because
I believe it.
People need these feel-good stories. People need these, hey, there's someone out there, like just that distraction, kind of like when the movies were created during the Great Depression.
That period of time. One thing, you're right. And one thing that I did learn that I said during because I ran a virtual show from the beginning of COVID for a total of 9 episodes. We featured magicians from around the world. Chris was part of that a couple of times, but it's not about making people forget. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to just make people smile. Just for that short amount of time. We can't make you forget. We're not that magical, but we can make you smile just for a short time.
If I could jump in here, I mean, Jonathan, you've accomplished so much, and I think a lot of people out there attribute the virtual show as being something that you created, and really it started taking off. But I do have to ask, where does your magical journey go from here? What are some things that you would like to proceed forward to? Or, I mean, we talk about legacy.
Sure.
Things like that. So what next? I mean, you've accomplished so much already. Where do you go from here?
One of my when I became professional and I got my first taste of doing magic the correct way, doing it for people, I always wanted to start my own nonprofit organization, just sharing magic for especially children with disabilities or terminal illness or in poverty, because they don't get to see this very often. They just don't have the opportunity. People don't get to see magicians very often either in person. I did a show in a town called Adelanto over here. It was a very, very poor area, and it was life-changing. It was, these children appreciated just little things here and there that, I'm not saying other kids don't appreciate it, but they just had this feeling that they just appreciated just a little bit more. I used to hand out these big bills with my face on it. On the back, they had magic tricks. Usually I go to an event and I pass them out, and I find them on the floor. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a waste of money. But these kids were like, can I have another? Oh, my brother would love these. And they just appreciated it just a tad more. But my point is that I would love to, I think what I was brought on this earth for is, it's not even to make money with magic. It's about just sharing it with everyone. But I would love to share it with just the people that don't get to see it very often, that don't have the opportunity to see magic in their life, which I believe they deserve it too. Everybody deserves it.
That's absolutely a great point.
And that actually brings me to a question that I've been testing recently here on this show, especially in today's world. How important do you think it is to be someone's buddy?
It's very important, especially during these days. People out there, how can I say this? Stop being so negative on social media and in life. I'm getting tired of seeing your posts about things that are not positive. It infuriates me. Instead of posting these stupid memes, go out there, call your friend. How are you doing? Is there anything that I can do for you? Check on somebody. Use your time wisely. And tomorrow is not guaranteed. Do you want your last thing that you're remembered by as some stupid meme? Seriously.
Yes.
Leave your impact in a positive way. No, regardless of what it is. Stop with this negativity. I'm tired of it. Just regardless on what your political beliefs are, religious beliefs are, we can find that common ground. Love is that common ground. Positivity is that common ground. And stop.
It leads. It's a great point, Jonathan. I mean, it is a great point, and I think we're all on social media. Nick, you, and myself, and I think it kind of brings up a point and a question. I know that we touched on it a couple times already, but as a person and as a magician, what kind of legacy would you like to leave? I mean, not to be a morbid question or anything, but I know that life is passionate about you. But go ahead, Nick.
Let me build off of that too. One question that I'm thinking about: do you think, like you mentioned, you have children? Do you think any of your children will build off your legacy too?
I can only hope. I could give them the tools that's necessary. I can show them. One thing is like telling somebody something, but showing them with action. is more powerful than just telling somebody that. I can only hope. I can only hope that they'll follow in some sort of footsteps. It doesn't have to be magic. It just has to be positivity and love. That's
Mm.
all. That's all I'm asking my kids to do is just be compassionate human beings, especially when the world really needs it.
Exactly.
I get it. I get it. People, negativity drives the world these days, but it doesn't have to be like that. It
Right.
doesn't have to be like that. So yeah, I hope. I hope. And I
Mhm.
hope it's not just my kids. I hope people are just watching it and saying, "Yeah, okay, I can see where this guy is coming from. Let me see how I can do it." It's all about inspiring. Magic is about inspiring. Comedy is about inspiring. Just we're trying to do our job here to inspire people to
Mhm.
just be positive.
Mhm. I'm
Well
going to touch on two notes here. First off, what you just said about your kids, there's actually, if you go back to episode of Buddycast, it's on July 8th, you'll
Okay,
find out the hidden meaning behind Buddycast because that's what we
I'll
like.
check that out.
The whole story about living a legacy. A lot of what I do on this show was inspired by the legacy that my grandfather left behind. For example, my grandfather, just a quick rundown, my grandfather was the one who went to a party, could be a big name at the party. It could be his own party. It could be like his birthday party. It could be like his surprise birthday party. And he would have gone and sat with the one person who was sitting by themselves because they were kind of like maybe the outcast, like maybe people knew them, but
Sure.
like, they were just like the neighbor who just got invited last minute or something. And he would make them feel as special as if this was their party. Like that is a lot of what Buddycast is about. Just speaking to those people, making you feel like I told you, we've had Sinbad on the show. We've had, the soup Nazi. But at the same time, talking with you guys is just as much as an honor. Talking with
Thank you.
the neighbor who, teaches music lessons, stuff like that. It's everyone on this show is on the same platform. There's no hierarchy. There's
Yeah,
no like just and
absolutely.
I told that to Sinbad. I said, as much as I'm happy to and honored that you are on my show, next week I've got the local school teacher coming on board,
Yeah,
and I'm just as excited. And he looked at me dead in the face and said, "You should be."
yeah, absolutely.
So, so this is something on another topic here that I wanted to ask. I asked this to all performers that come on the show. I think I asked this to you, Chris, one time. But do you have like a funny story from performing that sticks out to you all the time that you just look back at and just laugh, like you'll never forget that
Yeah.
moment? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we just talked about the positivity of kids.
Mm-hmm.
I a couple of years ago I did a show for children, foster children. They closed down the Chuck E. Cheese, our local Chuck E. Cheese, and kids were running crazy throughout the Chuck E. Cheese, and I was walking around doing magic. So I just finished doing a coin trick where I'm gonna spoil it for everybody. I ditched it in my pocket. So there was this kid that he was maybe about 12 years old, somewhere around there, and he was like, "It's in your pocket." And I'm like, "Oh, I know it's not. No, it's in your pocket. I saw you put it in your pocket." And I'm like, "Oh no, okay, And he was like, he started to grab for my pocket, like, "Let me show you." And I'm like, "Oh no, I don't want to go to jail tonight." So so he was like, "It's in your pocket," and I'm like, "Oh, So I try to exit as soon as I can, but he was like, "You know what?" He looked me straight in the eye and he says, "I'm gonna expose you tonight." I'm like, uh, uh, "What are you supposed to say about that?" There's nothing I could say, so I had to be really calculated. I said, "Well, that's not gonna be fun." And he looked me in the eye and said, "It's gonna be fun for me." This 12-year-old is. Oh, I wanted to spank that kid, but there's no win situation. Like, come here, you little there's no winning in that. There's none. So what I ended up doing, because in kids magic, what I learned from some of the masters in kids magic, you just gotta ignore them, because kids could be a-holes. You just gotta ignore them. So what I ended up doing, his friends wanted to see magic, and then I kept them behind me. So every time he would turn to see the magic, I would like, "Oh, pick a card," and I would just turn my back so my back. It was very passive aggressive, but hey, it got the job done.
Right. Great story, man.
Mm.
Okay, so I mean, I have to ask now. I mean, you definitely have quite the experience, Jonathan. I mean, we've had conversations off to the side about magic, and so I know that we all have our origins. We start as beginners in the magic journey. At what point did you start realizing that this was going to be part of your life? Magic was going to be part of your life. And what I mean is when did you start realizing that you had this skill or technique and you could take it to a different level than where you were as a young Jonathan? So I guess I'm looking for like an answer or a response to describe what took it to the next level for you as far as your magical journey.
My reasoning, we talked about this earlier, is my reason why I was doing magic. Because in the beginning, I was doing magic because of me. I was a shy Asian kid in school. I didn't talk to anybody. I was shy, and magic kind of helped me through that process of being a little bit more, just people friendly. But it was mostly for me at the younger age. It was for selfish reasons. I wanted to be cool. I want to be the part of the cool crowd, which I'm still not, which is unfortunate, but I don't care. But once I started doing magic for like the nonprofit organizations and for just the charities in general, then I found something that just, this is what it's for. Then I found my reason why I should be doing this, not because of me, not because comedy, magic, being a musician, those are all gifts that we're giving to our audiences, that we're giving to people, and that is not original. My mentor, Aaron Fisher, he told me one of the most important things that changed my magic is to love your audience. There was a magician. I'm so sorry. I'm blanking out right now. That he before he got on stage, he would close his eyes. And if you know this magician's name, please let me know. It's escaping my mind now. Do you know Chris? But he would close his eyes and he would picture the audience, and he would go down the line to each of the audience member and tell them, "I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." And he would go through the whole entire crowd, letting them know that he loves each and every one of them. Now you have a reason to do your best to share your magic. You're not going through the motions. You're doing this out of love. It's corny, but it's the truth. These are gifts that you're giving to people. This is love that you're giving to people. Treat it like that, and I promise you 100% that will transform your magic, your comedy, whatever you're sharing out there. If you're a storyteller, that will transform it because people can see it, people can feel it, they could feel the love, and I promise you that.
Well said. Well said.
Very well said. That actually translates into a lot of what I'm going to ask you next. You spoke about giving, you spoke about love, you spoke about it's for other people. One thing I always ask on this show is if you could have our audience donate to one charity of your choice, what would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. There's a lot of worthy charities out there. I recently did a show for that had I put together a cast of young magicians, and we did this for the amazing Thatcher. He has a terminal illness, and we did it for St. Jude Hospital. And because I asked the parents, like, which charity would you could donate it to any charity you'd like. I know times are hard right now. You can even, if you need to use it, use that money. I don't care where it goes. But they said that St. Jude Hospital was so helpful in just helping them with their child and just life in general. They were just any charity like that, any nonprofit organization like that deserves that, because let's be honest, there's a lot of dishonest people out there, but there are there are a lot of great charities and organizations that do it for the right reasons. They're trying to help just various situations. So that's really. But if I had to choose one, St. Jude's. But there's many that deserve yeah, their donations.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Chris, do you have any more questions for Jonathan, or should we go to the ultimate Buddycast buddy question?
Well, I just want to say I'm truly inspired by your words, Jonathan, and I am so pleasure. It's such a pleasure just to watch you perform. And I do have to ask: is there anything else that you want to show the audience? I mean, as far as magic.
Let's do it. I have
I'm
one
excited.
more.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this, Chris, but you haven't seen it yet. Magic to me is about connecting with my audience. We spoke about that throughout the show. We're going to try to connect with our hosts. So, gentlemen, come back. We need you here. We're going to use it's not all about me. And now I don't feel so lonely. So I'm good. Here I have a prediction. And we're going to use, I'm going to ask you a couple of important questions, and we're going to see if we can connect here. Gentlemen, red or black?
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm going with red.
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 Interesting. Hearts or diamonds this time? Hearts or diamonds?
You gotta
How
go.
about hearts? You said hearts, Nick? Okay, let's go with hearts.
Hearts? Yeah, hearts. Absolutely. It's fitting. It's only fitting to choose hearts. Since Nick is making all the important decisions and Chris is taking a back seat, Nick, high or low? High or low? What do you want to use? High or low?
Go big or go home. I go high.
High. All right. 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. Which one do you want to use?
I'm going with queen.
Did you say ace?
I said queen, but ace can do as well.
Did you say you said ace? These things. Okay, I was just trying to make it easier on me. You didn't say ace. It's your show, Nick. Whatever. No. You said the queen of
Hearts.
Hearts.
Gentlemen, I want you to watch.
Oh boy.
No way.
Oh boy, man.
That is the queen of hearts. Gentlemen, yes. Connection.
Wow.
Connection. Yeah. Queen of
And
hearts.
they're
Bravo, man. Jonathan,
Thank
you
you.
always surprise me with your magic. It's such a privilege to always watch you.
Gentlemen.
And I'm completely inspired by your magic, Jonathan. I don't know about
Thank you,
Nick,
gentlemen.
Dude, you guys are my magicians. You guys are the people that I'm calling one day for a birthday party or something,
You let me know. I'll definitely fly over there. Hey, a fun fact before we leave. I'm wearing shorts here. Look at that. Look at that. That is amazing. That's called laziness.
Oh boy.
You're one of those people that will dress from the top down at like a business meeting or something,
Oh, absolutely. Hey,
it's like, hey, how's it going?
A funny thing happened, Jonathan, the other day. I was on the show with Nick, doing Magic Meets Comedy, and a comedian, I forgot his name, he wore green pants, so when he stood up on the chair, he was half body. So that was hilarious, and I go, that's something for you. Right?
That's awesome. Hey, that's magical in its own way. This magic.
Hey,
But the
same
shorts
way.
is always good too, Jonathan. The shorts are
Hey,
always good.
you know, they need to breathe. I'm sorry. Everybody. They need to breathe.
Hey, they do. They do. It gets,
I
Hey,
think you have a question, Nick, that you always ask.
this is what I call the ultimate Buddycast buddy question. Are you ready for this,
Let's
Jonathan?
do it. Let's do
What
it.
is your advice to anyone out there who's either practicing magic right now, someone like Chris who's doing magic, or wants to be a magician?
Ooh. We said it before, and I'm going to keep this very consistent. It's really easy. It's just to love your audience. Do it for the right reasons. Just love your audience, care about your audience, and that little thing that is better than any sleight that you can learn. If you have a reason why you're sharing your magic, your comedy, your if you do instruments or whatever, if you have that reason, it'll transform whatever you're doing. I promise you that. I promise you. Just love, positivity. That's it.
Yes.
I'm done.
The best
Where's my
advice,
mic?
Jonathan. Best advice. Thank you, Jonathan, so much for sharing your heart and your
Yes,
inspiration.
It's been an honor having you both on this show.
Thank you.
I know Chris starts up his podcast. I know he wants you to be the first guy. So
Yes. So
Honored.
guarantee, you know what? I will be in the audience waiting for that moment.
So, Jonathan, I
have to
got to put you on the spot, man. I have to put you on the spot. So, everyone out there watching, I'm starting a somewhat of a show. It's a 15-minute pop-up show, and I would like to invite you as my first guest on there. And I hope you would honor me with that privilege.
Both Nick, you're officially a brother from another mother. Chris, you know how I feel about you, bro. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Anything you need, both of you, anything that you need, I'll do it. Please,
Thank you,
let me
friend.
know.
Jonathan,
Need that.
official buddy.
Yes, I'm gonna. I need to mark that off my list here. Buddycast. Got it. Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Like I said, it's been an honor. Thank you so much, Chris. We're gonna talk soon. Nick,
Yes.
keep on inspiring, dude. You're super inspiring. Just with what you're doing, your love that you exude, your positivity that you exude. I love just being with people like you guys. Yeah. Hopefully we inspired somebody today. Hopefully we inspired you. Stop with those memes, people. Stop.
Jonathan Molo, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Stick around for a few minutes afterwards. We'll chat. But for everyone here, these are my good buddies, Chris Herren, who did a fantastic job today co-hosting. Check out his podcast once he gets things running. And our great buddy, Jonathan Molo. Thank you both so much for being buddies here on Buddycast. It was a true great episode. And now I'm going to end with the way I always end all my shows. To everyone out there, to all my buddies out there, just remember one thing. Go be someone's buddy today. We'll catch you next time here on Buddycast.